Howdy, I'm Matt.
And I'm Dave.
And welcome to this afternoon's live mastermind. So if this is your first time here, or maybe it's your manyth occasion here with myself and Dave, this is one of our favorite ones of all time, or topics for us to discuss, because this is going to be product research. And then we'll have a nose, we'll definitely take a look at eBay, and we'll also take a look at Amazon as well. So those of you which have been and joined us previously and been on one of these, do on the right-hand side of your screen, let us know what product suggestions which you have for us to go and do some product research on, because we've had some right random ones, haven't we, Dave? We've had gold tea lights.
Gold tea lights. We had foam flooring.
Mm-hmm.
What are dog coats or dog jumpers, whatever it was, clothing for dogs. We had garden storage bins or something like that?
Yeah, that was a weird one as well. And it's always a curious one, because we end up going off on this little journey. And before we go any further, and by the way, if you're watching this, if you have any suggestions, let us know in the live chat and we'll take a look. But these ones are always curious, because we always go off on a journey. We always find holes in a market. And it doesn't matter which kind of arena which we go into, as in like what product type we go in, there's always a bit of money left on the table. There's me and Dave, and I'm sure you've heard us discuss this before, which is that we can quite easily find some very, very, very good Amazon listings. And we can always say Jungle Sticks or maybe Bananagrams as prime examples of some fantastic Amazon listings. If you want two examples to go and just make as good as that, and you're going to do pretty well, that's a really, really good going. But eBay, it's been very hard for us over many years now to say, look at this perfect eBay listing, because we just don't think they're out there. And I know that many of you watching this is going to go, well, we do a pretty good job. Well, the thing is that even when we've stumbled across your listings, when we've had people on here at the time and then have admitted that it's been their listings afterwards, there's always something which is missing. And it's always just, and again, this is the thing, is that your competitors won't go to the nth degree. And that's the thing, is that if you don't go to the nth degree, especially in a complex marketplace like eBay, for example, when there's many things which can get overlooked, whether on purpose or quite harmlessly, I think is probably the best way of explaining that. Whether it's intentional or unintentional is probably another way, is that you are basically leaving money on the table. And it's in these shortcomings of competitors' listings is where you can nudge in and then gain traction with your products, and ultimately more money in your back pocket, because that's what we're all interested in at the end of the day, for the ongoing success of your business. So, Dave, there's a lot of chat in there for me. While we get some suggestions come in, Dave, what's been going on in the world of e-commerce? Just a quick heads up from Me Seller Cafe.
Right, for Me Seller Cafe, we had quite a busy week last week. We had the news that Adobe was by Magento. We obviously touched on that a little bit last week.
How did I miss that one? We'll get to that in a second. Go on.
Yep, so we had the news on Adobe by Magento. Then eBay announced both their summer updates for the UK and US marketplaces. It was largely pretty quiet, nothing groundbreaking there. But again, big news. Amazon seemed to be going on another binge of closing customers' accounts where they were claiming too many refunds or too many returns, which again, good news for buyers, great news for sellers, getting rid of the bad buyers out there. And also the eBay Israel arbitrage dropshipping case made a little bit of progress when the Israeli court denied Sale Freaks' request for sort of extraneous circumstances. They basically said there's no proof right now that what eBay have done is against their own terms and conditions. So therefore, the case is still going on, but they were asking for special things to be put in place to basically roll back the throttle that eBay had put in place. The Israeli court have said there's no grounds for that. Yeah, that was the big news. I mean, Retail Global had their big conference out in Australia last week. We had a lady on the ground over there, so we've got her sort of feelings from the event going live on eSale Cafe probably tomorrow. I need to put some finishing touches on that. Yeah, that's pretty much been it. It's been a quite a busy week last week for e-commerce news with the big guys involved.
Yeah, that was a curious one. That's why I asked you what's been going on in eSale Cafe, because I knew there was something big had gone on, but I couldn't put my finger on it in my head. So yeah, the biggie and the elephant in the room was that, as I'm sure many of you know, if you're using Magento, is that over a period of time is that eBay it was bought from eBay, which was probably frankly good news as far as Magento as an app goes. There was a bit of a screw up in the current ownership with the release of Magento 2. I could talk about that for hours on how to not release a product, or how to release a product badly, but what's been done has been done, and it's really good news that those investors who did take, because it was an investment firm, wasn't it, Dave?
Yeah, it was like venture capital. It was, sort of a big conglomerate of people who bought it. Yeah,
it bought Magento, and of course they were always looking for a high ticket buyer. So turning up on Adobe's door was a bit of a no-brainer, and frankly honest, a bit of a coup. If you think about this logically, so those of you which don't really know about Adobe, you may remember such hits such as the Flash Player, which they were behind, which is terrible. Anyway, thank goodness that's been put to bed, put it that way. But on the flip side is that they are well renowned for fantastic, and I genuinely mean fantastic software. They are market leaders in image editing with Photoshop, for example, Illustrator, whole collection of apps like that. PDF as well.
Dreamweaver, did that used to be Adobe thing? Obviously, before the likes of CRMs came along, the WordPress and sort of got rid of that. Dreamweaver was the tool a lot of web designers would use. Adobe. Cracking software under their name.
Quality software, to say the least, and a long service history with those. Now, I'm pretty sure that those packages would have been written in C or very similar language, but which is quite different to PHP, I hasten to add. But however, what I was thinking, Dave, is that it's no real big leap for them. It's only really a language change. And their internal team, teams, should I say, won't have any background to it, but they definitely have a skill set for project and software management and software creation within their original skill set. So while Adobe does feel like an odd company to buy it, actually, from the software side, it kind of makes sense. It's just a different language to perhaps what they're used to. So yeah, it's good news from Magento's point of view. Big pockets, plenty of will, and loads of experience.
Yeah, I actually feel better with Magento now or potentially come Q3, Adobe's hands than the current owner's hands, if that makes sense.
Yes.
It's what is curious, and it's something which I get asked a lot. I'm sure Matt will be getting asked as well in his emails. Is what does this mean for UnderstandingE and Magento 2 tutorials and Magento? Where's it going for SMEs? That seems to be the unknown right now, is because obviously Magento, Adobe's enterprise cloud experience, whatever thing they call it, is where they're looking to move Magento into. And that seems right now to be targeted to the sort of more Magento enterprise customers. So it begs the question, well, can Adobe handle the open source community stuff? And my feeling on that is, well, that is largely where a large part of Magento's value actually comes from, is the open source community that the community edition has brought with it, the hundreds of thousands of developers, the millions of extensions and themes that are out there. Adobe would have to find some way of utilizing the SME market, because it's such a huge area of Magento to contend with. So I'm not actually worried that it's going to go anywhere. It's just going to be curious to see how it envelops into the Magento, so the Adobe ecosystem. There's also the fact that you've got to think about, well, Magento announced that they were working on this Amazon integration. which again is a huge coup for Magento. And Adobe is surely going to want to tie that into their commerce suite and then become an omni-channel, multi-channel marketing, analytics, advertising bundle for a whole range of businesses. So as it stands right now, I'm not overly concerned that SMEs will have anything to worry about. It does, again, put me, Matt, in this awkward position of, well, how do we take, what angle do we take on this because there's still this big unknown with what Adobe are going to do with it. If we start creating a load of tutorials and it turns out Adobe make a big change, and
to be honest, Dave, I think the biggest question really is what are Adobe going to do about Magento 2? I don't think the internal team or their internal goals are going to change overnight.
Oh no,
I think that's something that one thing they'll stress is that they'll just carry on and know that they have a decent sized backer behind them. I wouldn't feel too concerned. In fact, I'd feel far more comfort. In fact, I feel much more comfortable now that knowing like there's a company like Adobe behind it. I've just done a quick Google in the background of Adobe software. Adobe Acrobat, which I'm sure many of you heard, that's freeware Flash player, which it
got took up by HTML5, didn't it? Really, that was the
thank goodness for that. Finally, put to bed is Illustrator, Photoshop Premiere Pro video editing. By the way. The Reader, which we already kind of have spoke about, Lightroom and Audition I've come across, InDesign, which is desktop publishing software, actually very good. I haven't used that myself for ages. After Effects as well, there's just a whole Fireworks as well. That was fun as well. Cold Fusion and Dreamweaver as well. There's a very long list of good quality software. And also, I just want to chuck another thing in here in the mix as well, is that the Adobe Photoshop, which is like, as far as I'm concerned, I've tried many other tools and I keep going back to Photoshop, is what it was historically stupidly expensive. And one thing which we have down as a business expense is a Photoshop license, but paid monthly for about £8 or something, which is almost like a joke. Because I know that licenses used to be 500 quid plus, and that was all back in what was it, 3.1 versions or something like that. Stupid money, and now 8 quid. So yeah, a lot of faith in the company Adobe just because of the history and my own personal things on there. So yeah, positive all round.
For sure. So with that said, shall we kick off today's product research thing?
Absolutely. So I'm just going to get some screens organized here. Now, Dave, I've got a couple of suggestions. Tent pegs is one. I want to try and keep to a summer season theme here. We've just had the second May bank holiday here in the United Kingdom of sunniness, which is actually just turned into the UK of wetness. But mustn't grumble. We've had a good couple of days of fantastic weather. So with that in mind, let's go with a slightly more summery theme. And let me go and choose present to. Is that blinking for you, Dave?
It is blinking, that.
Okay. Let me move that onto a different screen.
I was thinking of I was going like more like white label. I wanted like a kitchen bin with doors on the front, because I'm fed up of trying to pull the bin bag out of the bin and it just rips or gets stuck. Maybe more of a private label, maybe I'm trying to redesign a bin here. Maybe that doesn't exist. I'm just fixing my own annoyances right there.
Yep, fair enough. Well, I've got and you'll see that I've picked up a tent on eBay. Yep. And let's get those off there a second. Tent peg sunglasses, because I've got a pair of sunnies on my head. And sun canopies. Now, what I actually meant by sun canopies, I meant by the pop-up tents. What's they called? And the reason why I think can pop-up tent, and again, I'm just keeping to a summary theme, not film. So if you have any suggestions while we go through, do expect us to go on a slight tangent as we go through, because we will, as with everything, we'll find stuff as we go along. So let's think about tent pegs as an option, Dave. Is there some positives to this? It's going to be relatively inexpensive. I don't see them being massively heavy either. So we're already thinking below 20 quid or below in our heads, aren't we?
Yeah. That's the sort of price point we want. We need there to be a margin. So we're thinking over 10, under 20 to keep it as sort of an impulsive purchase.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, we're not opposed to going up to 30 quid, and we're not opposed to going up to £5 in the back of our heads. And don't forget, we are also not ruling out doing bundles of the same products as well for larger quantities, which will definitely bump the prices up too. We are also thinking about size-ish, lunchbox size, which is actually, I've just looked at the screen. Look, we got a lunchbox on here. Happy days. Something about that size, wouldn't it, like a shoebox size, is not too bad. And again, we are thinking of keeping perhaps Amazon FBA in the mix as well on there. So that, again, about the size of a shoebox, not too heavy, would not be a bad fit for Amazon FBA. And the other one is ease of sourcing such products as well. Not normally a topic which we cover, but we're talking about 10 pegs. We're not talking about rocket science. It's only going to be really cheap bent metal or maybe ABS or similar plastics injection molded. So it's going to be a cheap product and a readily available product to source as well. So Dave, I'll tell you what, we're going to pick up a couple of these. I'm going to have
have a scroll. Let's see what we got.
Yeah, let's start with cheap.
Yep.
Okay. And then we'll take a look at two more on here as well. Okay. And let me just pop that on there. Brilliant. So these, right, let's just go and rip this one to shreds. Okay. Well, let's not rip it too far. 46 products sold. So they are selling. Okay.
Yep.
I might have to sign in. No, don't need to sign in. Let's have a quick look. They are selling quite frequently. Let's not knock it too much. They're cheap. They're cheerful. And no reviews yet. There's always a downside. Only one image. You are going to have to be very creative to get a dozen images on that listing.
That is true, but I'm sure we could do more than one.
Yes, absolutely. Scrolling down, we get an option. Oh, look, there's other options in here. Yep. Sponsored results with a nice tool. That's a nice little value add there, isn't it, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely.
Again, we're thinking, that's quite cheap for 8. But we are thinking of ways to which if we were sat in your shoes, how we could differentiate our listings away from somebody else's. And the inclusion of a 10 peg removal tool is right up there. Very, very simple. Piss poor, there's no other words for it, of item specifics. And 16 item specifics also you're able to add to an eBay listing. And they've gone as far as an EAN, a manufacturing part number and a brand. Talk about doing the bare minimum possible. In fact, if you had that product available, is that you could do so much better because there is money being left on the table. First listing out, Dave. First listing out. Yeah. We joked it's going to be hard to get 12 images for a 10 peg.
And this was the #1 spot in the search results.
For 10 pegs. Okay. And it's selling as well. It's not selling. So, again, how big are they? Don't even say there. There's no subtitle being used. There's no bag of them. You don't know how they're going to get you. So on and so forth. There's money just being left on the table there, especially around artwork. So for the template and UK based, so that's happy days, and stupid amounts of terms and conditions of the sales. Yeah, you've heard us mention this before. You can or should be condensing your terms and conditions of sales down to literally a paragraph or two, because UK consumer law, same it's probably as for you and guys in the US, is all pretty obvious, and it's going to be great customer service. So having stupidly long stuff is not really applicable, and also, frankly, absolutely scary to customers. Let's go and look at the second one. A nice big box. Oh, not bad. Again, nice quality ones.
Yeah, good quality image. Got a zoom.
They have, Dave. You've just realised what's going on here. That's a bolt. A great big screw.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, with a handle on it.
With a handle on it.
Releasing on it. Yeah.
Yeah. Talk about being really cheap to manufacture here. Is that this is not going to be like rocket science. This is not going to break the bank at all. We're talking about the crappiest, like the cheapest of black plastic going, and basically metal of any real shape or form in China specifically, is the cost of manufacture is really down to weight more than anything. And this doesn't really have to be a high grade of anything, because you can see the quality on there. That's not galvanized. That's just spray chrome, I think, on the tent peg. Again, it'd be nice to see what was in there, what else was in the box as well. Money being massive amounts of money being left on the table there. They are being sold. That's happy days. 18 product ratings. They've got themselves to a quite a good spot already, haven't they, Dave?
Yeah, doing well there, doing well.
Okay, so we like that. Could do with a subtitle. Again, 2 images out of 12.
Yeah, up to this point, we've still no idea how big they are.
Yeah, exactly. Doesn't even say in the title, does it?
Nope.
Scrolling down, they are combining items together, kind of like that. Anyway, moving on. Oh, bit of a family-friendly mistake. Is that they've obviously got one or more items in their description which is not coming from a HTTPS source. Dave, I'm going to take a random guess on this one. It'll be an image on there. So this can put the written description. Yeah, I bet pretty much it will be that. Let me quickly go and look at the source. What they got written on there? It'll be in an image. They've not bothered converting any of it, because look at all the links in there. HTTP, all the same, all the way through, and that's what it'll be. So that'll be the reason why. And by the way, if you don't know, let me just scroll back a second. See that full item description on there? The reason why that's happening and we're not seeing the actual listing is because one or more of their items in their actual listing template is coming from a non-HTTPS source. That should have been done and dusted many, many moons ago. And frankly speaking, they're doing a good job so far with a glaringly big mistake in their listing. Leaving money on the table. Crazy. Absolute crazy stuff. Not very good review there. Oh, disappointed.
Disappointed, but then gave it 5 stars.
Yes. Funny that. Tent pegs. You're gaining reviews. It's not...
See, these are, as you can see, these are obviously being sold by lots of different sellers, though. Not necessarily this seller. Whether he's jumping on the back of an EAN number there, probably. Yeah,
most likely on that one. And what was the other one? So, Dave, let's talk about positive points here. Cheap product. There's definitely margin in that by a country mile. Just lacking in many different ways.
Yeah, again, it's the basics as well, isn't it? So again, the images, you're using 2 images. eBay giving you 12 for free. And if I come to that product above the fold without, I mean, even down there, I've still got no idea of how long they are. Even in the description, it doesn't tell me how big they are. So I've got no idea the size of these damn tent pegs. So, I always say like the sort of holy grail: title, description, images. Title, description, and image was all missing the dimensions, which I would say is a key component for any tent peg, anything like that. Absolute fail on that front, really. But again, this is second in the search result for tent pegs. So, there's so much potential here for someone to come in and do a good job and dominate.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm just doing a quick search on a certain website called AliExpress. Just to have a quick go on her. And then I'm not finding it very well. You want M6. That's as far as I'm personally going. Just to make the point. Very, very bad search, by the way. Just to make a point. That's stupidly expensive anyway. They're not. Those were the cheapest of cheap bolts going with a plastic cap on the end. So yeah, a lot of money being left on the table with that one. Let's quickly look at the next one. Dave, as far as branding goes, obviously they're included in a plastic box, which is, again, they've just stuck a sticky label on the front, which is pretty much the same as, look at that box. Look at that box, and can you see those case lines there?
3 lines,
Right, so that's almost guaranteed just a generic box, which they've got available.
Well, I mean, the sticker's not even straight on that one.
Sorry?
The sticker wasn't even straight on the purple one.
Yeah, actually, that one is different.
Slightly different, yeah.
something for us to look out for in there. This one, 8 sold in the last 24 hours. 4 product reviews. They're 4 very good product reviews, which they've got on there. Price on there. Again, images. How long are they? As well. Oh, Dave, Daft Point, red tops would stand out an awful lot better than black tops, wouldn't they? From a practical point of view.
In a green field or in a muddy field. Yeah, absolutely.
Indeed. One thing which isn't just running in the back of my mind right now is the weight of these 20 large screw bolts. We are going to have an issue over weight, especially when you get into bigger ones. With larger quantities. Or look, they're doing offers on there for large quantities. 2 boxes in there. Oh, again, look, Dave.
Yep, another one.
Talk about money being left on the table. One or more of those items in there will be non-HTTPS. So they've gone so far. They've just left one thing. It only requires one thing to not be HTTPS, and it will screw up. There you go.
Yeah.
That bottom image is one of the things, and it's just such a schoolboy error, especially with the big push which eBay did a while ago. Let me just take that up there off a second, and we'll quickly refresh. Cool, right. Let me grab that one, and we just check that in an incognito window a second to see if slightly different results on a more generic search when I'm not signed in. There we go.
Oh yeah,
cheaper on there. Bent ones. We're not really hitting the price point on these, Dave. We're having to go down the page to get the prices up. Okay, and 50 pieces. 10 pegs I'm going to kind of rule out. Let's move to sunglasses. Dave, now, actually, I'm going to rule out sunglasses here as an option.
Well, I know that sunglasses over the past couple of weeks have increased by 2,000% in eBay searches. So, I imagine swimming pools, barbecues, and sunglasses all have had a very crazy May.
Now, the reason they're obviously a big growth point, like I said, I've even bought some myself, although I only paid £2 for them. The reason why we're going to skip sunglasses is because they are a product almost like fashion. And why I'm saying that they're almost like fashion, because number one, they are a fashion accessory. But the other one is that you would require a larger range of styles. And the one thing which would really, and let me just turn this off a second. Let me click stop on that. The one thing which would really set apart a pair of sunnies would be the brand which is on there. And that kind of brand creation is not cheap. So we're going to ignore sunnies as that option.
I'll tell you what might be an interesting one to have a look at, and that would be gaming glasses. For people with is it glaucoma, where certain lights affect their eyes. That could be an interesting product to have a look at. You are muted, mate. I don't know if you know.
I know I'm muted. I'm just taking a deep breath on that one. I don't. That requires too much research, I think, for a quick chit chat for this one.
Have a quick search, just out of interest. So gaming glasses. I'm just curious to see how many people, how many sales there are, or how many listings there are. It didn't come up also. It's 63,000. Wow. That's quite a lot. It's more than I thought, but again, looks like a pretty saturated market. Prices seem pretty low. The only reason why I brought this up, because I know I saw someone who did a very good value ad with this. And this is what led me to thinking about you when you mentioned sunglasses. Obviously, sometimes you have the brand. And if you have an unbranded, then you start having to think about ways to make your product stand out more. And again, using Alibaba, he found out he bought like 100 cleaning cloths and 100 cheap glasses cases, and was able to differentiate his product massively than just all these bog standard glasses, and was able to charge a lot more because they added value for a relatively little investment in a microfiber cleaning cloth and a case.
Yeah, so it's just got a slight tangent. You do have a manual with but if you don't recognise those canisters, I recognise that one because I literally bought some very last week. You've got all car parts in there, and this is blatantly just hijacking the word gaming glasses.
Yes.
it is the repurposing of a product.
Vision. Yeah.
Of a very grossly inexpensive product anyway. So
well, I mean, I guess it's good keywords because it's basically anti-glare, so that works on motorways at night or on gaming computers. Yeah, to see the crossover there. Again, description's terrible.
Yeah, 2 different styles on there.
Yep,
they are selling.
Margin's not amazing.
No,
but like I said, there is definitely room for value add there.
Cool. Right. The other one, which I was thinking, was Canopy. Now, this one is out of all of those areas which we spoke about a few minutes ago, Dave. If you think about them, and I've seen what I'm looking for, when I first started wrote that down, I was thinking the pop-up tent canopies.
Yeah.
And actually, I think that's not what we really should be looking for, because they are heavy, they are big. So you know the ones which we're talking about. Let me just do a slightly, what was it, pop-up canopy. Just to rule out pop-up canopy, and then I'll give you the reason why I'm looking at the other types. So this is what I'm talking about. Ones like that. You know, these are. There's 2 different styles. You've either got the ones with the tent pegs, the tent poles, which you have to manually put each one together, or we're talking about the ones which come in a bag like this. And they're pretty big. They are work very, very well. But the thing is that they've kind of hit mainstream now. They really have hit mainstream. I remember Sarge bringing them in originally, and they were quite new, and they were getting a good premium, literally 140 quid plus for this. But we're looking at this today, it's 65 quid. I know it's only 3x3, but it's still an absolute steal. There's a challenge to get the money out of those today. There's too many bad things which I can say about that type of product. By the way, from a consumer, I think they're great. We've got one. We use one up when we go flying as well. They're just very simple to put up, and they're good value for money now because they're not so blooming expensive. The type of canopy which I was referring to, so let's go back to what there are specifications, Dave. It needs to be relatively light. It needs not to be too big, and it doesn't need to be. We need a decent price point on it, anywhere between say 10 and 20 quid. And remember, we were happy to go down to 5, all the way up to 30 and beyond, if we could do multiples. And this is actually what I'm thinking is a canopy like that. So it's a sun canopy. So before we go and take a look at that listing, let's think about this practically speaking. It's a bit of material with a couple of eyelets in it and a bit of rope. Is that the simplest way of explaining a canopy?
I reckon so. It's nice because it's light, easy to send, very cheap materials.
Yeah. If it breaks, then we're not going to cry because it's in that kind of price range. If it breaks from the customer's point of view because of high winds, I think it's pretty blooming obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
The eye's ripped out because they've left it out in really high winds. So customer service is slightly easier from that point of view. And let's pick up these 2 and take a quick look. So I am now interested in family-friendly cells. I want to click on that. I'm immediately drawn to that. 9,000 cells. It's probably been around for a period of time.
Tell you what.
Is the 29th. So they've already had 4 cells there already. And 28th, there's lots of cells going on there. Okay. We can see the colors which are selling.
Variations,
by the way, if you were doing product research, you would copy and paste this, or maybe get your assistant to work out what sizes and colors we're selling, and then buy those, which ones were the popular ones. So that has definitely perked our interest, hasn't it, Dave?
Absolutely.
On there. So again, let's talk about potentially if we were Primrose London UK on there, which we haven't got a clue who they are. If we were sat in their position, maybe you were sat in their position, what kind of money are they leaving on the table? Because this is the kind of angle which we would want to be going at to get in there. Okay, is make as a route to entry. So Kookaburra shade So I have no idea why.
That makes me think it's a brand.
Could be. Okay. Matt and Dave, there is a brand there as well.
Anyone can have a brand.
Maybe a waist secure sunshade in there. 96% UV block. That's a curious one.
Mm-hmm.
What's letting the 4% through? Is it the type of material which they're using? Is there an opportunity there to investigate what we call a 100% UV block? Who knows?
Maybe that is purely a liability thing, where if someone bought it and then got sunburn, it's like, oh, it's not 100%.
Yeah, that's the kind of question which you would be
investigate a little
and going, can we go for 100 or can we go for 99% on there? Or maybe is it like the 99.9%, because bleach kills 99.9% of everything, because there's that one bacteria type which it can kill on the end. Anyway, 13 sold in the last 24 hours, very, very promising. Variation listing, fantastic, multiple colors and multiple sizes. Dave, this is fantastic.
Yeah, love it so
far. The difference between a 3 meter and a 5 meter is 2 meters extra material, but that only means it's slightly longer in each direction, isn't it? Because we can clearly see that there's seams going on there in the middle. It's not going to be particularly heavy, which keeps the shipping down as well. It would be a bag, which this is being shipped in. So it's not a box. And if the postman kicked it, punched it, sat on it, and then seriously abused
it over your fence,
with every offence going, is that it would still survive. So it's not fragile. It could literally get beaten up for its whole journey from your warehouse to the customers, and it would most likely survive. There's nothing fragile in that at all. Dave, I'm liking this one a lot.
Absolutely.
For a lot of different reasons. Anyway, let's look for holes. They are suggesting there's three different types in there. You've got triangle, square, and rectangle. Was that coming out on here? Yeah, triangle. Oh, look. Yeah, triangle,
square, triangle.
Yeah. Now, I'm guessing that, but would a customer easily get that?
If you fill in all the variations, does it change the image?
Yeah, it should do. Well, one would hope so. Let's go for ivory and choose no. Oh, is that because they've gone for colour first rather than size?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, maybe that's a fail. But there are no other additional images being shown in there. They've just got the different colours.
They've just got the colours, yeah, which that would have alleviated your size issue. Triangular. Blue one looks triangular.
Yeah. So artwork, it's great that they've got lots of triangle ones in there. Let me go back to select and let's go back to select and see what we got in here for the.
Oh, was the image changed there?
Yeah, that was me just clicking around at the bottom.
Right, okay.
They've got dimensions and stuff on here. I think there's definitely room in there. One thing which I am just going to point out is the images aren't big enough, so we're not getting the zoom. There's no zoom option in there. There was only the zoom in on the first one, where they've obviously added a large one. So a quick look at the stitching. We're not talking rocket science on the stitching, are we?
No.
It's straightforward. And again, let's think about if we were having to make this with a sewing machine ourselves, is that we would need to do the seams up to join the pieces. But the edge seams are not crazy.
Single fold over.
Nylon filament rather than a cotton on there. The actual attaching of the straps on the end, not complex. That's what 4 runs in there.
Yeah,
you're making the figure of 8 in there. It's not hard, and some cheap strap on the end. This is not an expensive product to manufacture. It would be pretty cheap.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's moving on. Like multi-variation listing, good price point.
Yep.
Scrolling down, there's some other options out there with varying price points as well. Oh, Dave, upsell.
Yeah.
With some fixing kits and rope and things like that. Kind of missed that one in there, and not a very good listing per se. There's no reinforcement in the images. There's no visual explanation of the different sizes and also the different shapes either. There's definitely money being left on the table in here. Let's have a quick look. Oh, look, 96.5%.
Yeah, UPF 34 plus. Okay.
Yeah. But then it was only what it was not all 96%.
Yeah,
it really was 96% in the top. So that is a curious one. Scary terms and conditions at the bottom. I hate the eBay headers on there. And definitely leaving money on the table as far as item specifics go. And come quick look at shipping. First time you've been and seen that on there for us looking on there. They do offer free shipping, which we always like.
Yep.
And Express 24 courier.
Yep.
$4.99. Not out of this world, and not scary expensive. So yeah, they're doing a lot of things right here, aren't they, Dave?
I would say so. Yeah, they're not perfect by any means, but it's not terrible. And what I do like about this product as well is not only sort of seasonality in terms of when it's our winter, we could sell this in Australia, but also the fact that you could change this from a sunshade to a rain cover very easily, because if you scroll down, it says water resistant. So this is a year-round product with a slight change of images and a slight title change. You've got a whole new product, which would probably be better for the UK market most of the year.
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, you were seeing I've just flipped to a different listing on here, and yeah, look at that. They've done it a slightly different way, and then put the sizes and the colors in there, and the details. So I do kind of like that.
Yep.
Because it makes you want to go for the 5 meter one, because the other ones look much inferior in comparison, don't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Much smaller, and of course the price point goes right up. And again, look at that. I know they put one sold in the last hour, but look, how many more have they sold today alone?
Wow. Yeah.
In that, so let's go and take that one. So these ones were slightly cheaper. Let me go back a moment. These were slightly cheaper on there. And what are they doing for?
Even cheaper express.
Even cheaper express. So I'm a quick note on that. Again, eBay header's not a big fan of that. At least, Dave, look, it's a country mile better. There's no surprise why they're actually doing better, is there?
No, not at all.
Not at all. It's pretty clear what's going on with the artwork. And let's be facing it. That has really been doctored in there. Can you not see the lines which they put on there?
Oh, yeah.
They're plainly obvious. But at least you get an idea on them.
Yeah, it's better than no images.
Yeah, and look, they've gone for a metal clamp on the side rather than the thing on the side.
Fabric ones, yeah.
Fabric one on there. Got the description going on in there as well. Straightforward tabs. And looks like it's coming from the UK. Not too scary on there. So actually, Dave, I kind of like that one. Although the thing is that on face value, you're only seeing it's 14 quid.
Yeah, that's their cheapest one. Yeah.
They're all up 15 to 20. So they're actually doing a pretty good job. But as we've always said, there is always money being left on these tables, left on the table when it comes to these items. Main image did get our attention, didn't it?
Yeah, like it. Cool. Yep.
Yeah, like it. Personally, well, they can't really go for a blue. Normally, if possible, you could. Blue is a high trust color. So if blue was an option in here, then I would have suggested go for the blue canopy in there. Anyway, that's very minor detail. They're using a subtitle.
I mean, I would argue maybe it should be 5 colors and 10 sizes, but other than that, it's very minor.
Yeah, indeed. Multi-variation, like it. They did a far better job than the other seller. Maybe that's why the other item which we saw a few moments ago isn't doing as well as perhaps this one is. As a
maybe
reference.
anthracite as well is not a great color to use. I'm thinking search how many people are looking for anthracite.
What color is that?
I think it's not going to be the darky blacky color. Yeah, it's like the gray. I would call it grey, slate, whatever. You know, anthracite's just a bit.
Yeah, cream, light green, sand, and terracotta. I think we all. I'd never heard of that.
Yeah, no. It's
hang on, that's the color of a block in Minecraft.
In like Minecraft, yeah, it's like a black block.
Yeah,
black stone. Yeah, just call it stone or slate or something. More people are going to search that than anthracite.
Okay, so one takeaway for you, while you're watching this, is that even maybe if your supplier has called it anthracite on there, is perhaps just call it grey, and then in brackets call it anthracite. Maybe that's the posh name instead. But if you're a bit dim and Bristolian, you haven't really got a clue what that colour is, to say the least. And even this isn't that helpful in the colour charts, 1, 2, 3, and then you're going like one and what, and then I was having to physically check, and the customer, aka us, were having to think about it. So yeah, that could definitely be done better. 98% claims of 98% UV on there. Again, is 98 better than 96? Of course it bloody well is. So yeah, I'd look at trying to beat them by going to 99%, find out what's letting the UV rays through and see how you can get around that. Because obviously a higher number is the better on there. So I would definitely be hunting for that. As we saw, there's a shed load of cells in there. Item specifics are a complete joke. They may, in inverted commas, have EAN set in the background of eBay for each of the products. However, I suspect maybe not. I don't know. That aside, where are the other 14 item specifics which you could perhaps put on this product? I am sure if we went through and had a look at item specifics within the awnings and canopies category, that we would have a field day and find a whole collection of them and be able to sneak in there with a better listing with more data. And then Dave, thinking back to, was it last week we were talking about tips for selling on eBay?
Absolutely.
Yeah, maybe the first 10, dare I say 20 in this case, because we can see the kind of volume which is going on, and also it is a very now product. Get those items out, get them sold for cost if needs be, just to get the sales in, and then put the prices up just to get the sales in the door. Yep. I know this listing has got a great history, and there's no disputing it. It is going to be a toughie to knock a dent in that and to come above canopy or canopies as a search term on eBay. But it's certainly possible, because there's definite holes left in this one. Opportunities, should I say?
Yeah, I think when you're taking on something like this, what you just said at the beginning there is, yeah, sell a handful at cost price, get the sales in, get that search ratio of impressions to views to buys so good, eBay can't ignore it, and then slowly start putting the prices up. But like I said, you smash item specifics on that, you're going to start showing up in results where they're not, purely for those people using the filters, using the left-hand navigation menu, and that's where you're going to be able to win the sales that these guys are missing.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm just looking down here, they've got features. Remember, we've also had this conversation too about the difference between a feature and a benefit. So that grade 304 stainless D rings in each corner, that is a feature. What is the benefit to that? How could that be worded differently? Really tough grade 304 stainless steel D-rings to allow secure fittings. I don't know. Fitting. It's just so... You will want to be factual with that one. But what does PU coated mean? Why would somebody care about that? By the way, 160 gram GSM is not terribly thick at all. It's only thick, if you think about that, it's obviously not like a piece of normal A4 paper or piece of paper in the US, but it's almost card territory, which is over 100 grams. So you're in card territory, but it's not silly thick, and it's certainly not going to be silly heavy either. So yeah, again, also Dave, could you not put some doubt in a buyer's mind by saying our sun cells are made from 160 gram material, some other items from other people? You can imply that other listings are really thin material. Absolutely. Say this is thicker than a sheet of cardboard, a sheet of card, should I say. That would be a nice, easy reference to someone reading that on there. Oh yeah, and Dave, look, each cell comes with 2 meters of nylon rope per corner. Was that not a very... Did we hear mention of that in the previous listing? Not that we really looked at it in great detail. Was there any inclusion of that in any of the images, rope included?
No, I don't. Not that I remember. No.
No. So again, this seller is doing a good job, good product. Let's not knock it. There's some nice colors in there, nice styles, not stupidly expensive, but they did have a good range all the way down from 14 quid up to, what was it, 44 quid? We saw one a few moments ago. Good range in there. But there's a chunk of cash being left on the table on that one. And again, just going back to what we said at the beginning, we found listings like this before, which have been sat at the top of the search results for whatever we've been looking for. And we can quite easily sit here and right in front of you and then rip them apart. And normally the conversation goes is that there's always money being left on the table, as we've been seeing with the canopies. And it will take a while to make a dent in that kind of previous sales volume. But it's not impossible, because even in this instance with this listing, there's so much opportunity for you to get in there. And we're not talking about expensive products either. We're not saying that they're 100 quid, things like that. They're not going to require a mass investment to do it. And they're not heavy. They would definitely suit FBA. Dave, in fact, I'm really curious. I want to go and have a look at Amazon now.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll take a quick look on there. Oh no, I was searching for canopies on eBay, wasn't I? Some canopy.
Oh, there's that one looks like a very similar image.
Yeah, is that
like Green Bay?
Exactly the
same brand.
Not using FBA. Have quite nicely used the suggested price on there. And we are going to quick look at that one. Yeah, there's definitely a bit of artwork going on in here, to say the least.
Jesus.
TG Outlet. Who was this one?
Cindy Online. But they all seem to have Green Bay as the
TG Limited.
Yeah.
Touch Global. Let me quickly go back to that one. TG Outlet. Is that too much of a disparity? Let's have a quick look on there. Touch Global, same company. Yeah. Right, bingo. Got on. So it is definitely the same company. That is bound to be exactly the same products, isn't it?
Yeah.
On there.
Same colours, same sizes.
Higher price points? Let me just do so. Let me just put that onto. Can I put these side by side? Let me just knock that one there. Put that one there, and we'll put that one there. So we're on. I got the wrong way around. No, that's the right way around. Let me get that one there. We'll go with cream 3x3. So we've got cream 3x3, $26.99, $14.99.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
I think so. That's a, oh no, it's a square. That's a triangle. Right.
Square.
Okay.
My bad.
Square 3x3.
Oh, there we go. $22.99. So it's £2 more expensive on Amazon.
Are they doing free shipping on Amazon or not?
5x5. Triangle 5x5, 23, 25. So actually, there's no price.
But is Amazon doing free shipping or not?
Eh?
Is Amazon doing free shipping? Yeah, free delivery, but so is eBay.
So is eBay.
Yeah.
So
eBay wins.
Yeah. But the other one was more expensive on Amazon, and now this one's cheaper. Sorry, it was in reverse a moment ago, was it not?
Yeah.
Let me just quickly do sand and 5x5, 20 sand. Look, 36. Oh, they don't even have it available. Should have picked one which is in stock. 42, and that was the rectangle 5x4. Rectangle 5x4. Yeah, it's more expensive on Amazon, generally speaking. And it's not even FBA either. One thing which I would notice is that there's no reviews on here. So that actually raises a doubt over whether they're actually using EANs on the eBay listings. And that's another area where there's opportunity to get in there against them. But on Amazon, there is a ton of reviews, and they are not that bad. Let me click on.
Pretty good.
Yeah, this. Sorry, what I normally always do is go in there, sort by most recent. There we go. Not bad. Again, again, if you were seriously looking at that product type, you would go in here and see what things are people are saying, both the positive ones and also the less than positive ones as well.
Yeah.
Extra postage on there.
What a swimming pool. Someone thinks he maybe didn't have the angle right.
Yeah, I think so too. And yeah, have a nose. That's always a fun one, just to see what other people are saying in there. It's actually very color orientated, which is sometimes you're never going to win on color because there's interpretation.
Monitors,
yeah. And I was chatting to my mate a couple of days ago, and he only realised when he was about 25 that he was actually colorblind. And that's a no shit story. He's my age now, and yeah, he was colorblind.
What do you mean the grass isn't brown?
Middle 20s, when somebody he had to, because he didn't have like the tests in school and stuff. It was just he didn't figure it out. So yeah, crazy. It's sagging in the middle a bit. So yeah, have a nose. Anyway, Dave, let's get these back off. Canopies. What did we start? What was it? Tent peg sunglasses and sun canopies.
Glasses and canopies. Yeah.
Yeah. Heavy duty tent pegs. They're not too bad, but I can think of more exciting products and easier products, if that makes sense. Although I don't want to put down tent pegs or that option at all, because there's lots of value in that. They were just basically M6 screws, which they were changing and stuck a bit of plastic on the top. They're not expensive to manufacture. There's a lot of positives in them. The only negative which I can think of is actually, now in hindsight, weight, especially with the bigger bolts. It is going to hit you hard compared to other products per se when it comes to the actual weight of them. Although, keep that in the back of your mind. The reason why I'm saying that is because the price point was around the 12 quid mark, whereas a garden sail or canopy or sunscreen is going to be of a similar weight to those bolts, because remember, 20 of those bolts chucked into a plastic box is more money. In short, higher price point with the canopies. So the canopies actually did get my attention.
I think out of the ones that we've done today, canopies is the one that would get me most excited, and actually think there's a product range that is screaming for either, like I say, some value, some better colors on the shade, maybe a thicker material so it doesn't bend or give way as much. There's definitely some better branding, perhaps. Yeah, there's a lot of things that could be done there. Again, and flip it on its head and turn it into a rain shelter for those people who have, like me and you, Matt, have birthdays in August. It's always the wettest month of the year, but you might want to be outside. Exactly. So, it's, I don't know. Yeah, I like canopies.
The only negative which we can say, or I'm thinking here to canopies in the back of my head, is the seasonality to them. Yeah. And I think that really does hammer home the importance of selling internationally, because UK, Europe, you'd want to push hard. The same for the US as well. You'd want to push hard during our summer months, but then you would definitely want to be looking at Australia and New Zealand in the winter months as well, because it will be their summer, and to push those hard as well. Again, to try and keep the flow of stock coming through, because keep the supplier, or place where you're sourcing from them products from, assuming that you're not making them yourself, hasten to add, is that there is potential in there. So yeah, curious one. But do not, if there's one thing, get to my point, if there's one thing which you take away from today's mastermind, is that it does not matter what kind of products you go into, or you go and maybe start researching on eBay, for example, or Amazon, is that always keep in the back of your mind, it doesn't matter how many reviews, how many sales, or if you've seen lots of sales, that's always of an interest. Do take away that there's always opportunity, especially when it goes to eBay, as we saw a few moments ago. Even the ones in there which had like something like 6,000 sales, there's loads of room in there for you to nudge your way in there. And it's not going to happen instantly at all. It is going to take time, effort, and energy, and also money as well, to get in there. But it's not rocket science. The door is open. Okay, and we're not saying like a little bit open to being able to step in here. We're actually saying it's quite far open. There's definite opportunity there. And notice at no point in time did we say that, oh, you'd need to source a cheaper product, because that's not what we're suggesting. We're suggesting you finding a good price product, anywhere between 15 to 20 quid. Again, remember, we can go up and down a little bit as well, down to 5, up to 30 or beyond, especially if they're going to be doing multiples as well. And those sun canopies, they were nice because their bottom limit was 15 quid, and then that went up to, what was it, 43.99? We saw one of them,
about 45 quid. Yeah,
really not a bad price range at all. Not doing multiples, which was a bit of a shame, but there's opportunities in there. Again, we didn't even know that rope was being included in there. That is the free add-on in the description. It comes with 3 meters of
fixing rope,
as well. And what was it? And Daft, remember that they had features rather than benefits. Remember, we spoke about that last week. If you don't know what we're talking about, go back to the YouTube channel, have a look and see what we did last week, because there is a distinct difference between features and benefits. They were very feature orientated, but nobody really cares about features. What we're interested in benefits. How will it benefit me? How will it benefit you, as the case may be? So it is time for us to wrap up. Dave, before I go off on a slight tangent, have I missed anything here?
No, I don't think so. I think it's been a good episode of a product research with Matt and Dave, and canopies is the way forward.
Indeed. So with that said, for myself and Dave, we would like to say a massive thank you to you for taking the time to join us here for this live mastermind. Remember, these are held live every single Tuesday at 3 p.m. UK time. Now, obviously, that does vary depending on where you are in the world. If you'd like to see what the next topic is next week, Dave, any idea what it is?
We are having a revisit of the Facebook tracking pixel next week. Excellent. I know you've got some stuff to share with us on that one.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been great. It's one of the nice things is that to turn ad block off on Facebook to see what's being targeted back at me, and it's great because you'll find out next week why. You'll find out why it's important to you, and also find out it's not really that expensive either, as well. So anyway, get back to my point. It is time for us to go. Big thank you to you for taking the time to watch today's live mastermind. If you have enjoyed this episode, do us a favor, press the thumbs up button underneath this video. And of course, if it's your first time here, underneath this video, there's a red subscribe button. Hit on subscribe. And if you want to hit the get notified when the next one's out, hit the little bell icon to the right-hand side. If you have any questions or comments about anything which we've been discussed here live, remember this was recorded live. All mistakes were left in as they came up. And remember, you can ask any questions or comments underneath this video or nip across to UnderstandingE.com, and the forums are always open. So on that note, from myself, Matt.
And from me, Dave.
Cheerios.
See you next week, guys.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.